All right, all right. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Real Deal. Happy Saturday. Let's get it. All right, welcome to episode 117 of The Real Deal. It is May 6th, 2023. I am super excited. My name, as always, Courtney Harden, The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Welcome to again, episode 117. You can follow, subscribe to all of the social media and podcast channels. Follow me at Get The Real Deal on Twitter, Instagram, CJ Harden _79. Follow all the content there. Facebook, Courtney Harden. Also, my personal Twitter at Courtney 110979. You can follow the show again at Get the Real Deal. Follow it on. You can listen to our Spotify, Apple, Google Play. We're on all the podcast platforms. Also, Roku. BS3 TV app on the Roku channel. So download the app, get all the shows there. BS3network.com, BS3TVlive.com. We're all over. So if you just download or if you subscribe and you just type in on Google The Real Deal Courtney Hart, you can find all the socials there, all the podcast episodes there as well. But as you see from the background, WNBA is almost here. Preseason started yesterday or today. So I'm excited for the season. This is season 27. I mean, it's been a long journey for the WNBA. They've come a long way. I'm very excited, but I cannot do this. I wanted to get a lot of content out with WNBA and all that. So I had to bring in some heavy hitters for some WNBA content. So the first up, right from the start, I'm super excited to get her back on the show. She's been on here quite a few times, so she's no stranger to the show. But I have to welcome my special guest, Imani Wright, social media manager and writer for Winsider. She's been doing a lot. So the Winsider's new, but she's been writing and blogging and video content for the WNBA for a long time. So Imani, thank you for coming onto the show, back on the show. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I always appreciate it, and I'm always happy to come back. So
Yes, I'm excited to have you on. As we said, WNBA, you've been doing a lot of content for WNBA for years, years on end. So, but first of all, before we get into it, how are you doing? How have you been? Like I said, it's been a minute since we've done something together with the podcast, at least over a year or so. But how's everything been going with you?
everything's been good. Like I said, like you mentioned, a lot has happened, a lot has transitioned. I've been doing a lot of stuff. Writing about the W still, writing about the NBA. I got a chance to be credentialed at NBA Summer League, so that was a
Okay.
cool experience. And then also just getting involved more in terms of my school, like doing our news broadcast program and then also our sports broadcast network. So there's just been a lot going on with that.
Yeah.
And then this spring, more or less adding Winsider. And then also there'll be an announcement soon about some other stuff that'll be coming up this summer as well. So I'm
Okay.
really excited about that.
Yeah, being credentialed, I know like a lot of the hard work you've done over these past few years, and now you said you was credentialed and now you're on Winsider and the social media content, the writing, and you've been broadcasting and all these things. I think I asked you before, but how are you finding the balance and school on top of that? How are you finding that balance to be able to do all these things? I think we're all still trying to find that answer, but how are you finding a balance, or you just said, you know what, I'm working on this day, I'm working on this day. How do you find that balance?
Honestly, thankfully, I have really like understanding supervisors and
Mm,
understanding like bosses and stuff. They understand that I'm a student first.
right.
So that comes first. So, and also too, I've been really intentional about setting boundaries, being like, hey, like I can't do work these days and these days because I have classes or I have work I have to get done.
Yeah.
And honestly, like utilizing my weekends to the best of my ability, which is like using my weekends to relax, like
Mm.
solely relax, not doing
Yeah.
like not do any work. And if I do have to do work, it'll be on a Friday or on a Saturday, and then like solely having Sunday as my rest day. But it's just being intentional about my time, and setting those boundaries.
No doubt, I like that, and it's interesting. So sometimes you got to have those. You know, you do so much. We do so much content, do so much work. As you said, you're a student first, so you want to make sure you get that. You want to keep that in line and keep that straight, and then all the other things that you do, just find that balance. And then it, the weekend is like you're, like you said, that's your resting or doing some other things outside of what you've been doing throughout the week, and everything, and then you just, like you said, you recharge and do it all over again. So it's a busy time, I know. So talk about what Winsider is, before we get into WA. Talk about how you got on it. We talked before we start recording. You talked about you've been doing it for 3 months. You
Mhm.
write and you do social media content on there too. But talk a little bit about what Winsider is.
Yeah, so Winsider is one of the, if not the top WNBA publications,
Mhm.
outside of like ESPN and Bleacher Report, not just in the nation but in the world. They've been around for a pretty long time, and we have a pretty huge following, especially on Twitter. We have 13.5K followers, and it's home to Pull Up with Owen and Miles, which is a really popular podcast, and we also have a podcast with our founder Aria and Rachel Galligan. So those are like two of our most like well-known podcasts, and then they also um Rachel Galligan is also a WNBA insider, so she posts
Mhm.
like breaking news about players, transactions, stuff like that. RAA is also someone who also posts breaking news and stuff like that as well. And so does Miles Elrich as well, and Owen Pence. And we have a couple of other notable writers like Matt Cohen, Ashley Woods, Jasmine, and a couple of other people on our staff that are just like really dynamic and really have a really strong presence within the W. I know Miles Elrich, one of our senior writers, he's pretty well known for the New York Liberty content. And I'm sure he's excited about the upcoming season with the newest additions. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what Winsider is. My role specifically, I am a writer slash social media manager. So what
Yeah.
that means is like I'm basically in charge of our Twitter content, and then also I am in charge of launching our TikTok, which will be coming soon. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay. All right.
And then also too, as a writer, I am on the Los Angeles Sparks beat, which
Hmm.
is actually a new development as well. So I'm working on right now getting credentialed with them for the season. So yeah, so Sparks content will be coming your way as well.
Oh, can't wait. I can't
Um,
wait. I mean, congrats first and foremost on all the things you got going on. As
mhm,
you said you're going to be the Sparks reporter, or social media, as well, just being credentialed. And it's interesting because I went to the WNBA part. I did some stuff for the draft,
mhm,
just this past, and that was my first actual being credentialed, and it was all I could ask for. Just seeing all the social media, all the media people there, and
mhm,
photographers, and I had so much content. I did so many reels and so many things with that. It was good. It was just good to be around that atmosphere,
mhm,
and for my first time, and it was a little nervous. It was a little nerve wracking because you're there. You're just like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and then once you get there, it's like this is real
mhm,
about it. And but then you're seeing I saw all the draftees, and coming in, and they did the Statue of Liberty. They did that whole thing, and just taking pictures and things like that. It was cool, very cool. But so yeah, so when you said with Winsider, you're doing all the social media content. Now you're going to be looking for credentials and things like that. So how exciting are you for just that now, the new season almost here in a couple of weeks? The first regular season is here. How excited are you for the 27th WNBA season?
I'm super excited, honestly. I think this year there's a lot that could happen. A
Yeah.
lot of a lot of new blood, but a lot of good new blood. I know people are kind of like sleeping on this draft class. Not gonna lie,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the draft class isn't that good, da, da, da. But I'm excited for them to prove them wrong.
hmm
So I'm really excited for that. And then I'm also in terms of like the Sparks. We have a new head coach, Kurt Miller.
yep.
So that's exciting. We have some new additions like Jasmine Thomas, Dearica as well, who's on Las Vegas Aces. So I'm just excited about that as well. So
Yeah, it's. I mean, the season's here. When like the draft was just like 3 weeks ago, and it was so interesting because like from coming off of such a historic college basketball, women's college basketball run, that what it was, the tournament itself, and the a lot of the the ratings and the coverage was top notch, and it was just and we mean you talked about this just women's basketball, women's sports in general, it just needs platforms, and once it gets platforms, people are interested, people are watching, people
mhm,
are tuned in, and we and you both, we've pushed for this, like we with our content, we just say, look, you just need someone to have a platform for it, whether it's TV or social media, things like that. It's getting covered. It just needs to just be more in the forefront, and it's doing that. And with the college basketball championship just this past March or April, uh, nine almost 10 million viewers watched the
mhm.
final game and everything too. Talk a little bit about that. What you thought of that, and the ratings out, and it got up to almost 13 million. It got up 13 million at one point. It ended at 9.9 million, the most for any college basketball, women's college basketball, which it was a great game. LSU beating Iowa. A great game and just a great tournament itself. But talk about the tournament and what does this mean heading into the WNBA season?
Yeah, I think it's honestly beautiful that we had that many, like millions of viewers.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me it's really cool. It just shows like how women's sports, first of all, is marketable and profitable,
Mm-hmm.
and how it is growing. And honestly, it was great to see that, like, not to compare them to the men's, but a lot of people were telling me,
It was better
like,
than men's.
non-usual, like, guys that I know that aren't usually watching women's basketball, but they were telling me they're like, "The women's tournament was more entertaining than the
It
men's."
was. It
Like,
definitely was.
I told y'all. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really cool to like see like kind of like all that hard work pay off in terms of like pushing for people to watch women's basketball, and everything, and like even like also too like the drama I feel like also adds to the marketability of
Mm-hmm.
NCAA women's basketball as well. So with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, I think that was really cool to see as well. And also just it was just cool to see girls be competitive, the women be competitive. I think that that's something that's sometimes can be frowned upon, but I really enjoyed how um like that was in full force and the emotions were in full force, and um it kind of reminded me of like when I was playing, like how I would
Mm-hmm.
kind of show that emotion, and it was just really cool to see. So
It was very cool to see, and it was. I mean, I always watched the women's tournament and the WNBA, of course, for years, and it
mhm.
was just great to see, as you said, because it is such a marketability sport. I mean, women's sports in general, but with the basketball itself, it is marketable, and it's just it's been talked about. It's being talked about, and I love that yeah, I know people are so late to the party, but just to have that, marketability and being on so many, it was on ABC, like that was the big transition of that,
Mhm.
not just on ESPN, ABC, like a no network had it, was covering it, and it's very important. I know uh, Ari Chambers, shout out to her, always pushing WNBA and women's sports. She's like one of the in the forefront. She said she's been saying for years WNBA is important. Yeah, women's basketball, women's sports is important. And the more it is marketed, the more people get behind it, and the more it's marketed, people will watch. And it was very entertaining. More entertaining than the men's tournament. I mean, sorry, it just was, and it proved just with the ratings itself. Just the final four in itself, because you had South Carolina also, who was going for undefeated, was trying to complete an undefeated season. and they just fell short. But you had Dawnstell, you had stars, you have talented individual players and talented teams, and it just proved that that with the way it was, the tournament was exciting. The whole entire tournament was exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let's get into this WNBA. As you said, you are ready to with the Sparks and ready to get all this content out. There's so much storylines heading into this season. It's very exciting. See, we talked about some of the rookie class. That's coming in. Leah Boston, she was National Player of the Year last season and had another tremendous year this season and everything too. What are some of the biggest storylines that you're looking forward to? We got Brittany Griner back. That's huge, and I'm excited to see how that transpires. I know she seems like she's in a really good space, just from her watching her on the media, talking with media, and then things like that. She seems like she's just in a real good space. But what are some of the storylines you're looking forward to in this upcoming season?
Yeah, so for me, we had 2 preseason games yesterday, so,
Yes.
it was really cool to see the Lynx beat the Mystics and then, the Wings beat the Sky. So yesterday it was pretty cool to see, Diamond Miller of the Lynx, rookie Lynx. She had 19 points
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, so that was pretty cool.
Yep.
And then also too with the Wings, beating the Sky, I think that was also pretty cool as well. Um, in terms of storylines, in terms of LA Sparks, I'm really interested to see how they do this year, with
Mm.
Kurt Miller as their head coach, and with the newest additions of Dearica Hamby and Jasmine Thomas. So those are that's the storyline I'm interested in, along with Zaya Cook. She's also a Spark as well, and Monica Susano, and
Mm.
seeing how those 2 rookies do, coming into the league as well. And then also too outside of the Sparks, like you said, Brittany Griner coming back, I think is really key for Phoenix. And honestly, I'm happy that BG is back, and I'm happy that they're in good spirits. So I think that'd be interesting, along with the Liberty. The Liberty is like
Oh,
basically a super team now.
yes, yes.
Um, so I'm excited to see, like, will they mesh together? I mean, a
Mm.
lot of them play together overseas, together, so I think they'll be okay. But I'm really interested to see how they gel and interested to see how spacing when it comes to that team, along with scoring. So I think that'll be an interesting storyline to follow as well.
Yeah, that's a big storyline to Liberty. They're loaded with talent, and I was just listening to Sabrina Ionescu. She was talking about how she's been working on different things in her game. Already a super talented all star player, but she's been working. Because now, like I said, now she has now more talent on her squad. So she's like, I could really work on like her strength and other things. So it's tremendous. Like that how much they built. And then now Candace Parker on the Aces. Like
Mhm.
talk about that. And like they just came off a championship run with a great team, and now you add the future Hall of Famer Candace Parker to this team. That's another team that's gonna be they're loaded too. But talk about the Vegas Aces. What do you think of them trying to repeat now and adding someone like Candace Parker?
I think it's great. Honestly, I actually am wearing
You're wearing
Candace
the A's.
Parker
Yes.
right now, so
Shout
it's
out to
exciting.
Candace Parker. Yeah.
I chose this on
Aces.
purpose because I was
Yes.
like, gotta rep, gotta have some WNBA
Yeah,
merch.
yeah, of course.
Um, but yeah, I'm excited for that too because she's not her and Chelsea Gray are really close.
Mhm.
So they already have that chemistry built. Along with her and McCartan Williams, I believe, are on the Sparks at the same time at some point. So I think it's gonna be great. Like she has a lot of established relationships already with a lot of the other key players on the team. So I think their chemistry should be good. And she has her own practice facility now because they have that
Yeah.
beautiful new practice facility that
Yes.
opened. And honestly, I'm just excited to see what they do. And excited to see how everything shakes out. So yeah, honestly, I'm really excited about that, and also excited to see Chelsea Gray, Harlan Williams, Candace Parker, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, all of
Well,
them
yeah.
playing together. So I'm really
Loaded.
excited
Just
about
hearing
that.
those names. Just learning those names, and you talk about like said just with that and Becky Hammond leading that charge,
Mhm.
and there's that story of her being interviewed for the Toronto Raptors job too.
Mhm.
So, and I know she had made a statement saying, "I'm not worried about the men. I want to concentrate on these ladies here. This women team, and we're trying to repeat." But that's going to be a story because they're pushing for Becky Hammon could get an NBA job, an NBA coaching job, which would be well deserved and everything too.
Mhm.
So I wonder how that's going to. I know she's gonna. It's hard to not talk about that, but it's going to be a storyline heading into the season because it's right before the season has started. So I don't know. She's just deflecting it, and we might hear some news in the next few weeks. I mean, we don't know, but that's
Mhm.
another big storyline. But yeah, I think that one and um, that they got the TV deal. WNBA got a TV deal on Ion
Mhm.
now. That whole thing because now I was just looking at the national TV channels, which we talked about coverage and just having it on more platforms and channels. You got ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, CBS, CBS Sports Network, and now Ion, and you got League Pass too. So there's no excuse for people not to watch this great product, this great league in itself. I think that's another big thing um, to for that too. But let's go back to BG and as we talk about her, being a big the headspace. She seemed like a nice headspace, and as we said, she was in prison, Russian prison, for that whole year, and they got national news, and now that she's out, she's just enjoying life, which I'm very excited to see now. Like, okay, she's gonna be business. She's about to do her thing. Tairazi's back. Sky Diggins is back. So, what do you think of the Phoenix Mercury and BG and that whole story?
Yeah, so honestly, like the BG storyline is something that is it was a scary time for sure. I was nervous
Yeah,
for her being over there, especially given Russia's politics and things towards LGBTQ
mm-hmm.
plus individuals. So
Yeah,
I was nervous, not gonna lie, but I'm happy that President Joe Biden was able to work something out and to help her get out. And honestly, I'm happy. I was really happy to see that they were in a good headspace. I know that they were in a government like system in terms of like getting reacclimated to life and
mm-hmm.
everything and a lot of therapy and all the other stuff. So I'm glad that they had the opportunity to do that and that the government was supportive of them in terms of getting them reacclimated to society again. And honestly, I'm really excited to see them play this season. For me, I've always been a huge BG fan since she was at Baylor. So for
Yeah.
me, I've always been super supportive of that. And I'm excited to see what this Phoenix Mercury team is gonna do. Last year was real tough. I'm sure BG was just on their mind a lot, and it was just heavy. But also too, it's just gonna be interesting to see how it works with the dynamics and with Diana Taurasi, and BG being back together again. So I'm really excited.
It's going to be a tremendous season, and I'm looking forward to see what BG what she missing that year. But at that time she was I mean still an all-star player, of course, and now getting back into the mix and getting back into it, I think she's gonna have a tremendous year, and I think the Phoenix Mercury, Diane Taurasi, it could be her. I know there was talk about her last season, if she had said anything about it or anything. She still can ball. She's still balling out and everything too. So, but then we had the retirement of Sue Bird from
Mhm.
last season and everything too. But we got a comment here. Lloyd Phillips said, "Good morning," and then he says, "How can I join your WNBA fantasy basketball league on the BS3?" Hosted by Himani Ray. He's asking about a WNBA fantasy league, maybe for they do have there is you can get in WNBA fantasy leagues. I know I think ESPN has one. I
Mhm.
know DraftKings does WNBA, so you can do that as well. He said you host it for our league. He says that's what he's thinking. That'd be cool. But yeah, any other storylines that you're looking forward to heading into this season?
Honestly, for me, I'm excited to see honestly what the rookies do. Especially
Yeah.
Aaliyah Boston with the Indiana Fever. That is such a young and up and coming team. I feel like
Mhm.
she'll be with Destiny Henderson and Nalissa Smith. Nalissa Smith killed it in the AU Pro League this year. She had a 50, I think it was 50-point game. So I'm really excited to see what that young team can do and what Aaliyah can do. And coming into the W along with her draft classmate, Grace Berger as well. So I'm really excited to see what that team does as well.
Yeah, and I like you said, I just the Liberty and, and that new super team, and like with that talent, Jonquez Jones and Brianna Stewart, Courtney Vandersloot, and you said, and Ionescu. It's gonna be interesting to see how the talent itself is they're loaded, but how they're going to gel. I think that's going to be the question as well. We talked about with Sue Bird retiring and the new era of Seattle, not just losing Sue Bird, but yet losing Brianna Stewart too. She departed free agency. See what direction they go in. They still they still have Jewel Lloyd. They still have her. She was leading the way, but got a lot of young players over there in Seattle. Just going through some of the teams, as well, So yeah, those are I think those are the biggest storylines. BG, the Liberty, what the Aces are going to do. The Sparks, can they get back into uh, to the playoffs? As you said, but yeah, those are some of the Leah Boston making her debut in Indiana. Yeah, there's a lot happening, and it's an exciting time to be part of the WNBA. And like you said, it's on more TV networks now. That's a big thing. So yeah, I think that's all the headlines that we there's so many others, but that's a lot more. But so you say you're gonna be working with, you're gonna be trying to get credential with the Sparks. You got TikTok. What else you got upcoming? But you can announce at least. What else you got upcoming in this next for this WNBA season and beyond?
Yeah, honestly, that's all I can say for now.
Okay.
There are a couple other things that I like are in the works, but nothing's been finalized yet, so I don't want to like say anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm just waiting on that. And then also to just working with Winsider will be a really fun experience. I'm really excited to. I've already been publishing content via their Twitter, like not my personal content, but I've been able to like promote other people's content, which I think is really cool. And a really cool way to give back, honestly. So yeah, that's like all I have so far.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah.
No, I like that. Oh, and other news for WNBA. I cannot forget they announced this was last month. They announced expanded charter flights
Mm-hmm.
for the 2023 season. Uh, the travel has been a hot topic around that for years. When the Liberty were fined, I think last season 500,000 for charter, but it's like they yes they deserve that. They need those charter
Mm-hmm.
flights, things like that. They give them that what you give the NBA. That's
Mm-hmm.
all they were looking forward to. Talk a little bit about that, and that'll be the last topic, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, so I think expanded charter flights are important. We've seen
Mm.
so many countless stories about WNBA players talking about, oh, we've had delayed flights and then
Yeah.
having them push back game times or reschedule games even. We've seen them post about that on social media or how, those women are not short, most of them. They're tall women and
Six
kind
foot
of
and above, right, right.
yeah, and kind of being just uncomfortable on commercial flights and not being able to kind of get that comfortability. And even some of them would say how like they had better like treatment in terms of flights in college than they do
Mm.
in the league. So I think that's important. And then also they announced the bench rule as well,
Yes.
which has been interesting.
Mm.
For me, I think I don't like it personally. I'm somebody if
Yeah,
I'm on the bench, I'm hyping my teammates up, I'm going crazy and everything.
yeah,
So for
yeah.
me,
It's
it's
an
just
emotional game.
interesting,
Yeah.
an interesting thing to do. I think, especially given the route that the league is going and how they're trying to grow the game. And I think a lot of ways you can grow the game is through just the excitement that you can see from the women playing in the league. And the bench is kind of where that really takes place.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how that role pans out as the season continues.
I agree, 100% agree, and that's a an interesting that yeah that the bench rule there is like you said, it's an emotional game, so people they get excited, like they get excited about when things go down and toward in the games and things like that. You say you're an athlete, you know how it is. It's like you can't. Yeah, there's a lot to say about that, but we'll like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But the charter flights, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, she's listening, at least, and she's trying to expand with the WNBA, because with the pay, that's another hot topic always, because Cheryl Swoops just came out yesterday and said about how NIL is with the college sports getting paid more. They're getting paid more than the NBA, or WNBA. So that's going to be another topic I know heading into. I know you're going to probably have a lot to say about that. She just came out and said that. It's like, yeah. So I love it that it's because it's getting the coverage and things like that. So there's still things to be addressed with the WNBA, but it's expanding. It's getting the coverage, it's getting the viewership. That's a great step in the positive direction. So another comment. He said, "What's up, Courtney and Imani? Great show. Thank you, man." Danny Thompson. Yeah, appreciate it. Follow his content as well. Podcaster and has his own show as well. So I really appreciate the kind words. But Imani, it's been always a pleasure catching up with you. I want to let you go here so you can enjoy your day, enjoy your rest day and all that too. But I really appreciate you coming on the show, taking some time, talk some WNBA, let everyone know where they can actually follow your content, follow you on social media.
Yeah, so on Twitter, you can follow me at Imani Writes, so my first and last name. And then on Instagram, it's at Imani Writes. So it's my first name and then WRITES. So it's a play on my last name.
Yes.
So that's where you can find me, find all my content. And then, yeah.
Yeah,
so thank you for having me.
Yeah, follow Imani Wright. Follow if you love not just WNBA, but just women's sports in general. Or I know you do NBA, you do a lot of different things, not just WNBA, but you might see her you're gonna see her at the Sparks games. You're gonna see her doing media there. WNBA. Keep everyone keep locked in. Follow her content. What was going, like I said, it's an exciting season. I'm looking forward to see what kind of you have going on. We have to do this. Definitely got to do this again. I know we do this at least once or twice a year. So during the season, I want to get you on once the season begins and gets rolling and see how everything's going. I'm looking forward to see all the things you got, the announcements and things like that. So I'm already following you and we follow each other. So really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the support.
All right, as always, thank you, and enjoy the season, and best of luck and many blessings with everything you got going on as well.
Thank you. Same to you too.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye. All right, that was Imani Wright. Just follow her content, follow everything she's got going on there. But that is a wrap for the show. Got another show coming up within the next half hour. So be on the lookout for that. So follow all the content on BS3 Network and BS3TVLive.com, Roku channel. Get the real deal. That's a wrap for the show. Until next time, see you guys in a few. Peace. God bless.